And welcome to the USC Football Spring Showcase. We are on TuneIn Live. We are right here on Twitter at USC_athletics. Appreciate you joining us on your late Saturday morning. A chance to take in the Spring Showcase. More of a practice with some scrimmage emphasis than a game here. We're out on Cromwell Field. Jordan Moore, Sean Cody, and we're joined now by the head coach, Clay Helton, who just stops by real quick before he goes out there to coach his team. Coach, what can we expect to see here today?
Well, this is practice 12 for us.
There you go.
We've still got a week left to go, but get out here with our Trojan family, have a little fun today. We're just continuing what we're doing, which is implementing systems, practicing the discipline of the game, practicing, the sense of urgency when it comes to all about the ball and turnovers and takeaways, and really, keeping that competitive level that these kids have had over the last 4 weeks. We talked in a team meeting. Don't let anything change today. Just because we're out here, we're on TV, there's fans in the crowd, we came here to get better today. There should be no difference between the way we practice and the way we play on Saturdays. You practice dang hard, it makes Saturdays easy.
Coach, up to this point in camp, what have you liked from the team, let's say from the fall? What are some of the things that have changed out here during spring camp?
Well, I think a couple things. One, from my point of emphasis, I've really concentrated on a couple things. And one has been, first of all, when I looked at us last year, we kind of beat ourselves, especially in the last 4 games. It was about the penalties. It was about the turnovers. It was about, missing fundamentals. And so that's what I've concentrated on this camp is I've taken myself out of the X's and O's and just worried about the discipline of the game, about making it all about the ball, and then making sure we're fundamentally sound. I've got 3 great coordinators. They're implementing schemes. They've shrunk the systems down to make it easier for the kids, and these kids are playing fast and furious and having a lot of fun. I am too.
Yeah, and I think the fast and furious is what people are looking forward to from the offensive side of the ball. And I think for a lot of the fans that's showing up today, you're curious to see what this looks like under your new offensive coordinator. What has it looked like for the first 12 practices? What will be eye-opening for the fans today?
Yeah, what I've been happy about is that we've gotten better from practice 1 to practice 12. It is a very simple offense that you master. You become a master of your craft. It's not about out-scheming the other opponent. It's about outplaying the other opponent. And that's what I felt at the end of the season, having the opportunity to call the last couple games and really feeling it was really the Notre Dame game that I'm looking up, and I think JT's like 29 to 32, and I was like, man, we simplified things. He's really performing well. I think, the next step is to bring in an offensive system that really, simplifies things for everybody, that helps a Devin Williams become a great player. It helps an Amon-Ra. It helps a Stephen Carr. It just spreads the ball around so much and so fast. Everybody gets touches. It's fast and furious, and the kids just have a ball with it, and so are we as coaches.
Coach, what are you concentrating on now? I mean, you were play calling at the end of the year, and I'm sure so much time is dedicated to that. What is your emphasis now as the leader of this team? What are you specializing in on the team trying to get this thing going?
Yeah, like I said a little bit earlier, is I'm trying to make myself disciplined in the facts of this camp. I'm not worried about the implementation of schemes. I'm letting the coordinators do that. My main focus, I had 3 of them coming in. The first one was to make it all about the ball because I thought turnovers beat us late in the season. The second one was the discipline of the game and being able to address the penalties. The fact of the matter is we had 2 more penalties per game than everybody else in our conference. And then the third one was I thought we put ourselves in bad positions fundamental and technique-wise. And you know how it is. You go mano a mano, good player versus a good player. It's going to come to proper hat placement, proper pad level, proper footwork. I mean, everything, those inches that you create, those are the most important things. So that's what I've been looking at and trying to keep myself disciplined within this camp.
You're listening to the USC head coach, Clay Helton, as his team's out there stretching as they get set for the spring showcase out here on Cromwell Field, the USC Locher track. I've heard you, Coach, use the phrase set the standard during this spring. And we talked a little bit the other night to Kerry Colbert about how, obviously there is a great tradition here. But sometimes it sort of needs to be reset with each team. And everyone, on this team that we've talked to all spring, you guys are not happy with the way last year ended. So what have you talked about with that phrase in terms of trying to get these guys to maybe to set the standard, but in a little bit reset and get this back to where you want it to be?
Yeah, for us it was a fresh start. I mean, I'm mad, they're mad. We got a chip on our shoulder. We brought in some fresh faces as far as coaches, as far as strength and conditioning staff, and we started talking about it's not about our opponent, it's about us. We're as good and talented as everybody that we play. So it's about us and our standard and what we're willing to accept. And so after every practice, we ask ourselves, was that the standard of USC Trojan football? And the guys have really bought into it, and it's really paid off in this camp. It's something that we're going to continue. The level of competition, understanding that your job is never safe, that you got to keep working each and every day to fight for a job. That's real world life, and to make sure that your standard of excellence never fades off.
Coach, we've seen the refs out here the whole camp. I think that's a new addition to some of the practices. What do you think that has brought to the players? Does that make them step up their level of how they're playing and making sure they're not creating penalties out there?
Yeah, that's the first thing I wanted to be able to address is I brought in refs for each and every practice. So hopefully the Pac-12 refs like us.
A little rapport with them. Huh?
But it provided reality to our guys that, it was immediate information given to them, and there was immediate repercussions for every time they did it. If you had a penalty, you were out and doing up-downs, and when you got done with the up-downs, you get to come back in. But they understand that when something like that happens, there are repercussions, not only to yourself, but to our team. And I think it's been great for our kids. I think they've enjoyed it. I think they've gotten better because of it. Our penalties have gone way down from practice 1 to practice 12, and it's something that will continue in fall camp.
All right, Coach, get out there and coach your team. We appreciate you stopping by to get this spring showcase kicked off for us. We're counting down to kickoff with Mito, Swiss watches since 1918, the official timekeeper of USC Athletics. Be the first to own the Fight On limited edition timepiece. True Trojan fans, visit shopmito.com/USC. That's shopmito, MIDO.com.